the "I didn't realize you liked me that way" deal. Because it's one thing to receive McDonald's, but an entirely other thing to know that they woke up early to face the world and bring you McDonald's breakfast still hot in the bag.
Appreciate you.
There's a deal for every morning. Now grab 2 loaded sausage burritos for only $3. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hi guys, Dr. Wendy Dearborne is in the house. Hi guys, welcome to another episode, another podcast called You and the Laws of Attraction. So guys, my name's Dr. Wendy Dearborne, and today is, just so I can make sure I say that, actually it's Sunday, which is very rare for me to do a podcast on a Sunday. But it's Sunday, the 29th of August, 2021. And the hour is 9:45 a.m. Yes, nice and early. Well, not too early, but nice and early. So once again, the podcast, this show is called You and the Laws of Attraction. So what am I going to be talking about today? The cost of living. The actual cost of living. Before I do that, who am I? Once again, my name's Wendy Dearborne, and I am a choice and laws of attraction expert. What does that mean? It means that I bring and share with you content on the power of choice, on the power of your spoken word, on your ability to manifest. I bring you content that shows you contrast and parallels. I bring you content that will allow you to create the life that you want to live. I bring you content that is, it's me-centric. And what I mean by that is, this is all applicable to me. So when I share with you anything that I share with you, it's important to understand that you need to take it and mold it to who you are, because we're all individuals. My experience is my experience, and this podcast isn't about people creating a cookie cutter experience of what I've had. The universal laws, especially if you listen to the show, you'll know the universal laws tell you can't do that. Only one thing can occupy a space at one time. No two things can occupy the same space at the same time. Or even if there is a space, even if that space becomes vacant, it then is a you-centric. That being said, as a choice and laws of attraction expert, I support you in establishing what it is that you are wanting in life. And that's a choice. Actually, everything that we do in life is a choice. I support you, as I said before, in finding clarity surrounding that choice. And what does that mean? You say that you want to be, doctor, lawyer, whatever it is that you want to be, computer tech, whatever it is, a nurse, a homemaker, whatever it is. I support you in finding clarity around what that actually means for you. Not necessarily the educational steps, but what that really means for you. But anyway, guys, once again, today's show is all about you, the laws of attraction, and the cost of living.
At JCPenney's Memorial Day sale, sizzling deals are on with store-wide doorbusters all weekend. Or bring home savings up to 50% during our Memorial Day home sale. Save even more with your coupon. And for all former and active military personnel, enjoy an extra 10% off in-store. Just show a valid military or VA ID at checkout. Shopping is back. JCPenney. Coupon valid on select styles through 5/30. Some exclusions apply. Doorbusters valid 5/26 through 5/30 and excluded from coupons. See store or jcp.com for details.
The cost of living. So just a couple of things real quick. Every time you hear this, oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's do it this way. Every time you hear this, and yes, as they say in It's a Wonderful Life, an angel just got their wings. But every time you hear the bell ring, it means that I am changing subject, or bringing something new to the equation, or basically it's one of them things. And I have to listen up, pay attention. I actually feel that I am saying something that's really pertinent. And again, just so we're clear, just because I'm saying it doesn't make it so. It makes it so for me. This is about content that you can take, you slice, you dice, you hash, you take what it is that you need from it, and you mold it to your specifications, to who you are. The one thing that I would say on the heels of that is that, oh, here we go. How about this, guys? The one thing that I would say about that, or on the heels of that, is that truth is immutable. Truth is unchangeable. But truth is malleable. It will mold for you and to you. But truth will never, ever change. Very, very important. Very important. Okay, guys, so let's get to it. The cost of living. When people think about the cost of living, or when I say the cost of living, many people think about, how to make sure that their bills are paid, how to make sure that they have some of the basic necessities, and then how to get some of the luxuries that they want. They think about in terms of finance. They think in terms of inflation, and all of that is real. Like inflation is real. Okay. I don't know where you are in the world listening to this podcast, but I can tell you where I am in the United States, in the southwestern portion of the United States, that for me, I go into the grocery store and I look around and I'm like, oh, wow, this has really gone up. Okay, all right, I get it. All right, I get it. And you just see things, anyway. That being said, inflated prices are really, really real. It's real. And so the cost of living is what you actually pay, the money that you pay, the coinage that you pay so that you can live the lifestyle that you want, or at least so you can live a lifestyle where you're able to keep body and soul together. The cost of living.
At JCPenney's Memorial Day sale, sizzling deals are on with store-wide doorbusters all weekend. Or bring home savings up to 50% during our Memorial Day home sale. Save even more with your coupon. And for all former and active military personnel, enjoy an extra 10% off in-store. Just show a valid military or VA ID at checkout. Shopping is back. JCPenney. Coupon valid on select styles through 5/30. Some exclusions apply. Doorbusters valid 5/26 through 5/30 and excluded from coupons. See store or jcp.com for details.
We are molded. We are molded by psychology. Okay? We're molded psychologically to want things that, and some of them are really beneficial. But by and large, we're molded to want things that we don't want, but that somebody has manufactured and needs to sell. I've spoken about this at length in other podcasts about the psychology of advertising. And the psychology of advertising is real. The psychology of advertising will make you want to go out and buy stuff that you don't really want. And most households, most people have a junk drawer, a junk closet, junk cupboards, and or all the above of things that they have purchased. And even as they purchase them, in their mind they're saying, I'm never going to use this. This is a really good idea, but I'm never going to use this. But I'm going to buy it just in case. I'm going to keep it just in case on the off chance I might use it. People's households are filled with stuff. And so when you go to that drawer the next time, when you look in the drawer the next time, realize that you have been manipulated psychologically to purchase something that you don't need. Many people live their lives that way, being psychologically manipulated. It's become a part of the cost of living. Do I think this is wrong? Yes, I do. See, in addition to the cost of living, we have come up against planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence, and once again, I've spoken about this in previous podcasts ad nauseum. I've spoken about this. Planned obsolescence. And what planned obsolescence is, everything is manufactured with an expiration date on it, and it will expire. If you have in your home at this moment in time a printer, the ink will and only last so long. And you're like, well, that's kind of logical. The printer will only last as long because somewhere inside there is a little chip that says there can only be so many revolutions that this printer does to spit out paper. And once it's hit that zenith, that revolution, that number, it will cease working. They had, and I say they, scientists, inventors, whomever, anybody of that ilk, had created a light bulb that it would never die, it would never blow, it would never cease to stop working. And the manufacturing world of lights were like, oh no, we can't have that, because if we have that and we allow that, then what's going to happen? People will never ever buy another light bulb. What will happen to our business? Planned obsolescence with car and car parts. Before they would use, I don't know, steel. Now they use plastic. That after X amount of X amount of use is going to break. Planned obsolescence is the cost of living, is the cost of living that we experience in this world today. Now, am I saying it's bad? Am I saying it's good? To be honest with you, my take on it, I don't believe that it's good. Once again, it's a master manipulation. I've spoken about this before as well. I had an iPhone. I think it was a 4 or 5. This was back in the day, because God knows they're up to 12 now. And I loved my little iPhone, and I did what I needed to do on it. And I started to use it to digitally process things like appointments, credit cards. You know, that's when apps were just coming into their own. And I was using it for my banking system and all this sort of jazz. And one day I was actually using PayPal, the truth be known. And one day I went to use PayPal, and it said something. I got this error message, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, I need to be able to process this stuff. And I got this error message, and da 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 da. So I called PayPal, and you know, they were trying to walk me through this thing with their app and yada yada yada. And eventually the woman at the other end, on the other end of the line, the telephone line, simply said to me real quietly, she said, ma'am, if you're going to actually want to use the swiping mechanism using your iPhone, you're going to have to update your phone. And I'm like, what? She said, you're going to have to update your phone. I said, but my phone's really good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it powers up. She said, yes, but the actual technology and how the technology has evolved, it has outgrown your phone. So I said, I'm going to have to buy a new phone. And she said, yes, if you want to use our system in that way. And so I did. I was very good. I went out and I bought I think it was an iPhone 6. I mean, whatever I did a huge jump. So I had to have had an iPhone 4 because I jumped to an iPhone 6 or something, or a 6 Plus or so. So whatever it was. And yes, everything worked brilliantly until it didn't. Everything worked brilliantly until it didn't. And this is what I mean, planned obsolescence. It is part of the cost of living. Food, the tariffs that are placed on food, the cost of food, the cost of transporting food, the cost is all part of the cost of living. And the cost of living doesn't only the cost of living isn't only about the money that you actually spend. It's not only about the money. It goes actually way beyond that.
At JCPenney's Memorial Day sale, sizzling deals are on with store-wide doorbusters all weekend. Or bring home savings up to 50% during our Memorial Day home sale. Save even more with your coupon. And for all former and active military personnel, enjoy an extra 10% off in-store. Just show a valid military or VA ID at checkout. Shopping is back. JCPenney. Coupon valid on select styles through 5/30. Some exclusions apply. Doorbusters valid 5/26 through 5/30 and excluded from coupons. See store or jcp.com for details.
The cost of living is also about your time. People might call it sweat equity, but I call it time. Your time. People talk about the most precious commodity that you as a person has. And for me, it's time. Once a moment's gone, you can never actually get it back. Time. And as the saying goes, time waits for and on no man. Time will move forward even if you choose to stand still. And life's about choices. You get to choose what it is that you want to do. So time will move forward if you choose to stand still. You cannot run ahead of time. You cannot get left behind. Time doesn't allow that. Time will move you along irrespective of what you think, what you feel, how you feel, what you want. Time is always moving. The one thing to understand is that you are on a clock. Okay, guys? There is a passage of time that is yours and yours alone. And that is a chunk of time that is yours and yours alone. And within that time, this is about you doing, being, becoming, and all the things that you have incarnated into this lifetime to do and to be. There is a passage, and a passage in the way that this is a journey of time that is yours. And so it's about you taking this passage of time and utilizing it so that you can be all that you have come here to be. You are on the clock. And the clock was punched. The clock was punched, or the clock started when you took your first breath. When you took your first breath, when you were born, you punched that time clock. And there's going to come a point where you're going to punch the time clock to leave. This is the natural process of life. You know, I haven't said this for a long time. You can go to any cemetery, and all the headstones that you see there are people who have punched their time clock in and punched their time clock out. You won't know their story. You might know something about them or you might know something about the era that they lived in. And the era would be the commonalities that you find. You know, if you were of the 60s, it might have been the Beatles. You know, if you were back in the whatever hundreds, it might have been Beethoven as music. Even food, you know, the type of bread, the type of housing, the type of clothing. I mean, you might have been in the early 70s when polyester became the thing. You know, so you could tell by looking at somebody's headstone the date of birth and the date of death, you know, what was going on. You know, man went to the moon, or so they say. Man walked on the moon, or so they say. You know, the first Dr. Barnard, I think that was his name, Dr. Barnard, heart transplants and things like this. So the era is definitely there. So you can tell some of what was going on based on the era. But that being said, you have so-and-so was born in 1909, you know, or 1929 or 1921 or whatever it is. And then you have the dash, and then the dash, and then the date of their death. And the date of their passing, you know, is whatever, you know, 2021 or 1999 or whatever it is. But you see, that dash for me is atomic. That dash is one of the most powerful things that gives the testament to who we are. Not the date of birth and the date of death, but that dash. Because when that stonemason takes that hammer and chisel and says, bam, and makes that dash, that is a representation of everything that you have done in this life. That's representation of your passage in life. That's a representation of when you clocked in and everything that you did by the time you clocked out. That is all a part of the cost of living. Your life is about choices. You know, people have said to me, literally, people have said to me, you know, well, what about small, babies who are born, and bless them, they may only live for a couple of days or something like that. What about that? The same thing applies. When you think of the knock-on effect of just that incident alone, and the impact that it has on other people's lives, good and bad, the impact. That blessed baby came here and did what that baby needed to do. I was watching a program the other night. It was on Investigation ID, I believe. And it's a series about women. There's a profiler, there's a female profiler. She worked for the FBI, and now she does this TV series about women who have killed. And this was back in the day. I want to say it was almost like Victorian times, based on what the woman was wearing, the actual clothing. Again, see the era. You can tell things by the era of dress, what people dress in. But anyway, this woman, she met this guy, and you know, he was a businessman, suave, sophisticated. And of course, he was married, but he told this young lady that he loved her and he was going to leave his wife. I mean, they're doing the same old stuff. They're doing that same crap now today, right? Would you say 100 years later, 120 years later, they're still doing the same thing? So anyway, he kept telling her, and she was like, okay, when? And he kept putting her off, until eventually what she did was she got a gun and she went to his house and she shot the wife. And then she took the gun and she turned it on herself and she put the gun to her chest and she pulled the trigger. Well, the husband came home and he saw the wife on the ground, she obviously dead. And then he saw the mistress, obviously still alive, but, you know, looking a little shaky and everything. So he called the police, and the police came, and according to what they said on ID there, that they were trying to talk her down because she still had a gun. And it took them about 45 minutes. And eventually she said to one of the inspectors, what side of my body is my heart on? And he pointed to it. And then she took the gun, placed it there, and pulled the trigger again. Well, she now has 2 bullet wounds, close, really close, up close, bullet wounds to her chest, in the vicinity of her heart, her lungs, her aorta, all sorts of stuff, major organs. Well, it worked out that the woman lived. In all of this, the woman lived. So where I'm going with this, guys, is that when you punch your time clock, there is an allotted span of time for you to be here. Nobody, and I mean nobody, leaves before their time. Now that's something perhaps you're gonna have to take that to the bank, and the bank of when you make your transition. This I know based on having a near-death experience. Nobody leaves before their time. You are in a contractual agreement, and this is the cost of living. You're in a contractual agreement that is irrevocable. You cannot change the agreement. You cannot. You know, there was this movie, and I can see the actor's face, and he whatever he was doing, and he decided he was going to end it all, and he jumped off of a building. And yes, he hit the ground and he hit it hard. If he had a bone in his body, it was broken. But guess what? He was alive. He was walking around like a crippled crab after that. But he was alive and lived. Now, people will say, well, what about, people who commit suicide, yada, yada, yada. And while I feel that it's a tragic choice, I recognize that it is a choice that people have to exercise. It is a choice that people have to exercise. And should the attempt be for them successful, then they have actually lived their allotted time. But once again, it's the cost of living, and that is not a road I'm going down today. So anyway, back on track. Let me just get back on track with the cost of living here. The cost of living is broken into, I'm going to say at this juncture, because like I said, today's show, I have absolutely written nothing down. Usually I'll write down some talking points. Sometimes it will be more in depth, the talking points. Sometimes it will be bullet points, as in one word. But today I have nothing. Today I said, I'm going to go with the flow because that's what I've been told. And when I say been told, this is what my intuition indicated to me this morning when I woke up. So the cost of living broken down into 2 or 3 parts. One is the physicality of living, what we actually attribute the cost of living to be. And that is what we pay for, physically money, what we pay for the things, the things that we pay for, money, that exchange. Now, there is another cost of living, and that equates to time. And I'm writing, guys, as I talk here. That equates to time. That equates to time. And once again, you, me, all of us, you, me, all of us, the one thing that we cannot get back in this life is time. We can lose many physical things. In this day and age, if you lose a limb or part of a limb, they have prosthetics that are amazing. You see people, they're running, and they're not even running in what they call the Special Olympics. They're running in the Olympics, and they have prosthetics. So there are some amazing feats of scientific inventions that have taken place. Once again, the one thing that you cannot get back is time. The other thing that floated into my head in regard to what you can't get back is once you say something, you can't get that back either. You can't take it back. You cannot take it back. I've been married for 36 years. I've known my husband for 37 and a bit years. And in all that time that we've been together, I have never, ever cussed my husband out and told him that he's a this or that he's a that or da and all of the stuff that I see and I hear people do. Because I know based on past relationships, I know based on past experience, I know based on my near-death experience, but that once those words leave your mouth, 1, they will not return to you void. 2, you cannot take them back. And as God is my witness, sorry doesn't make it better. Sorry doesn't make it better. Sometimes sorry makes it worse because it says that you know that you shouldn't have said that. It says that I've said something about you that I actually believe, but I don't want to elaborate on that point anymore. By saying sorry, again, sorry doesn't always make it better. So while I'm on the power of your spoken word, and this is all the cost of living, while I'm on the power of your spoken word, you have the power through your spoken word to create the life that you want to live. Now, for those who are in the metaphysical arena, in the spiritual arena, in the religious arena, we understand what prayer and affirmation is. Prayer and affirmation is about using your words to speak into existence that which you say that you want. Prayer is the same thing. Most people pray, and this is my opinion, most people pray incorrectly. Most people pray incorrectly. There is an art to prayer. There is an art to praying. There's also an art to affirming, which actually is part of the prayer process. Prayer isn't about begging and beseeching. True prayer is about naming, claiming that which you say that you want and giving thanks before the unseen has become seen. And for the metaphysicians out there, it's about affirming what you want and affirming in such a way to say that you have it already. And for everybody, giving thanks that you have received it before it has moved into form, before it has moved into a physical and tangible form. Your words are the most powerful things that you have. Your words can move people, places, and things, and that includes mountains. But we don't believe that. We don't believe that. And that is the cost of living. The good and the bad. If I was here, if I told you here today that the power of your belief could drop a mountain, most people wouldn't believe that. But the fact remains, it's true. It's the cost of living. That's part of the cost of living. I would say the majority of the people on the planet, they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in themselves. They really don't. And again, we are inundated psychologically with a lot of bullshit that doesn't actually help us to maneuver through life. It doesn't help us to maneuver. If anything, it creates it creates hurdles and speed bumps. Because the thing that you are here to do, that thing's objective is to be made manifest. And you wonder why you can't sleep. You wonder why all your relationships don't work. You wonder why, sometimes it feels like things are going to hell in a handbasket. Well, life is happening for you and not to you. And the 4 is the unfolding. The 4 is the unfolding, because whatever choices you are making, in the back of that, is the thing that is trying to be realized within you. And that's your purpose. This is the cost of living. Frequency. And again, guys, roll with me today. Today is just however it comes up. All right. As I said a little while ago, there are no bullet points. There are no talking points other than what is flowing into my head. Spirituality. Spirituality is also the cost of living. It's about a frequency. It's about a currency. It's about using spiritual currency to create the life that you want to live. Spiritual currency is the frequency upon which we all live. It's a vibration. It's a vibration. Life is a vibration. Life is an energetic vibration that is moving into form and out of form. And it moves into form and out of form based on the power of our word. And not only the power of our word. When I spoke about the power of our word, our spiritual currency is about our belief. Our spiritual currency is about our desire. You know, people talk about being addicted. Addiction is a desire that is out of control. That's what that is. Addiction is a desire for something that is out of control, that's out of balance. But that being said, the spiritual currency is a vibrationary frequency that we have the ability, and we really do have the ability to and I was going to say manipulate, but that's not the right word. To mold, that's a better word. It's a spiritual frequency that we have the ability to mold through the power of our spoken word. One of the things, guys, you know that's a hot topic for me, a definite push button for me, is you need to know your role in the manifestation process. You are the what. You need to know what it is that you want. And guys, you can't have a shaky or a janky or whatever kind of what. You need to know for the best of your ability, with crystal clear clarity. And that thing that you really want, you say that you want, you can't play lip service. People say fake it till you make it. That's a load of BS. You have to desire that which you say that you want, so it solidifies into a belief. So that belief can then move energy. It can move that mountain. It can move energy into form, so it becomes tangible. So you need to know the what. So the universal creator within you, the God within you, can then move the energy into form. You are the what, and the universal creator, known to me as the God within, is the how. You cannot do the how, because if you could do the how, all this crap that's gone on in your life, all the good things that you have experienced in your life, all the things that you have wanted but never received, you would have had them because you know the how, but you don't know the how. Understanding your role in this game of life, understanding who you are and how you show up, is the cost of living. Spirituality. You have a spiritual DNA and a physical DNA, and the two are heavily interlinked. Your spiritual DNA is the essence of who you are. Your physical DNA manifests that essence. This is the cost of living. People people allow, I'm going to do this here because I've just gone on another tangent here. Many people are in unhappy situations. Well, let's talk about jobs for that matter. Many people are in unhappy situations and they hate their jobs, but they're in their job because it gives them the physical money to pay for a cost of living so that they can keep a roof over their head, send the kids to school, all the things that people do with money. However, that cost of living doesn't extend to the spiritual currency. The spiritual currency of the inner feeling of well-being. And yeah, does having the roof over your head give you well-being? Yes. But does it become murky and lost when you start talking about who you are spiritually and what it is that you really want to do? You know, people are here, and once again, they're working in jobs that they hate. But as somebody had said to me, and this was years ago, he said he's a Yale graduate, and you know he got a brilliant job. He's an attorney, got a brilliant job, and he said to me, Wendy, these are golden padded, I was going to say cufflinks, but what do you call the thing? I'm going to say shackles. Okay, I'm going to say shackles because that's what they were. Handcuffs. There you go. They were golden padded handcuffs. Golden, and he had a brilliant job. He got out of college earning buku money. And I mean serious money. Serious. And he said they're golden padded handcuffs. And that he is shackled to this job because now he has a lifestyle that it far exceeds that which he is earning. See, his cost of living, his literal cost of living, outpaced his earning because of things like psychological, and it to me is like a psychological warfare, but the psychology of making people want to buy things, making people want to desire things that they don't want. And this is simply done, very, very simply, guys, this is done by tapping into vulnerabilities and your emotions or your emotional vulnerabilities. You know, things like if you don't have an iPhone 12, you're a loser. You're not hip, you're not with it. You know, most of the people do not use 80 to 90% of the apps that are on their phone, neither their computer for that matter. Most people don't. Most people, or the majority of people, and I would say especially in my age group, they use the phone to say hello, how you doing, good, send a text, perhaps check an email, and that's it. But that being said, that's a whole nother paradigm in itself. That being said, he was saying, you know, that he is in this thing. And now it's a vicious cycle. But as I said to him, the cycle is only as vicious as you believe it to be. What are you wanting for your life? What are you wanting to do? And he said what he wanted to do, and he did it. And as a result of that, many things in his life changed, including the union with his wife, that dissolved. The union with some friends, that dissolved. But what he has now far exceeds and is far greater than the golden padded handcuff or handcuffs that he had. So anyway, the cost of living, I got off topic here. I don't even know where I was going with this, but I got off topic. It's really important, guys, to understand that you have a spiritual currency also, and you need to use that wisely. Spiritual currency, doing things like your prayer, your meditation, truly tapping into who you are, what you are, and how you show up. Utilizing your time. This is spiritual currency. Utilizing your time for your highest good and for the highest good of those around you. There are I don't even know. I don't know how to do this, because I actually don't want to be offensive, and this is why sometimes it's really good to have talking points that you've thought out. So let's see if I can do this like this now. When you make a choice, okay, all right, thank you. When you make a choice, understand it's a choice that you have made. Choices are neither good nor bad. They just are. The choice that you make is a response to something that has happened and a representation of what you think and where it is that you want to go from there. We are always making choices, guys. Even when we don't think we are always making choices. Always. And once again, choices are neither good nor bad. Now, the actual result of the choice, that too is neither good or bad. It just is. But how you choose to feel about that emotionally is a total different thing. How you emote, how you express what this means to you is a totally different thing. Your life is built one choice at a time. One choice at a time. Anything that has happened to you in life has happened because of the choices that you have made. Hear me clearly. Hear me clearly. I am not condoning your behavior. I am not condoning people's behavior against you. Anything that has been perpetrated against you and or your family. If somebody needs to be in jail, they need to be thrown in there or thrown under the jail and keys discarded. I am not condoning any action against you and your loved ones. What I'm saying is this: to be caught in any crosshairs means that a choice had to have been made. It's not about blame. And that's the thing, guys. Most people get caught up, when I say this, they're like, oh, so you're blaming me. You're blaming me for when I used to talk with the women at a shelter for abused women, kids and pets. When I used to talk, and I would say this, and it's a cold, hard truth, but it's a truth, and people would be upset. So you're blaming me and saying it's my fault that my husband was beating me. No, I'm not blaming you. Are you blaming you? What I'm saying is that life is about choices. What is it that you can choose to do for self so that that doesn't happen to you? Life is about choices. It's not about blaming. And I've done several shows on that whole blame game thing. When you play the blame game, you make yourself a victim of your circumstance. When you stop playing the blame game, you become the victor over your circumstance. And then you can give thanks and praise for it, and you can stand on it, and you can then move on. You can then move on with your life. Blaming, shaming, and all those sort of things, being a martyr to the choices that you have made, it just holds you in bondage. But even though it's holding you in bondage, time is still moving on. See, the cost of you living is truly about what you choose to do. The cost of you living is about the choices that you make. That's the spiritual currency that you use. Choice. Choice is the spiritual currency that you have to dictate how you live. Are you prepared for the cost of living? No, guys, are you really prepared to pay the cost for living? You see, the choices that you make dictate the life that you live. Are you prepared for the cost of living? Change your choices. You can't control your emotions. And I was saying this recently. You can't control your emotions. They emote. You emote. Up it comes. They are flags. They are telling you how you feel in this moment in time. But how you feel in this moment in time changes from moment to moment. And I say this frequently. What had you rolling on the floor, laughing, peeing your pants, will have you seeking vengeance for the rest of your life tomorrow. So today you laugh, tomorrow you're in vengeance mode. And what had you hurt and crying today will have you laughing for the rest of your life, starting tomorrow. Emotions just emote, and they're fleeting, they're mercurial, they change. Feelings, emotions will let you know what you're feeling. And then your feelings will solidify into a desire that then becomes a belief. You see, without desire and belief, you can't manifest. That's a whole nother thing in itself. But without desire and belief, you can't manifest. However, many people live based on their feelings and their emotions, when in reality, they need to be living on their desires and their beliefs. They are four totally different things. Powerful, yes, because they denote the cost of living. So once again, your emotions tell you where you are in this moment. Your feelings are a buffer between you and your beliefs, or you and your desires and beliefs. The ultimate thing is you need to believe. That is the cost of the cost of living. Your belief is your cost of living. Because based on your belief, that which you believe is the thing that you shall receive. So guys, if you are wanting something different in your life, if you are wanting things to truly be the way that you want them to be, you need to look at how you are doing your cost of living. Where are you living from? Where are you living from? And so, As I said, guys, for me today, this was literally on the fly. Literally. I actually haven't done this for a long time. No talking points, just rolling through it. Life is a glorious, wonderful thing. Yes, we have our ups and downs. Yes, it is. It can be tumultuous. Yes, it can be all sorts of things, guys. But at the end of the day, it's your life. Treat it and use it like the gift that it is. It's precious, but it's strong. It's beautiful, and yet there may be flaws. It's happy, and yet there may be sad times. These are the costs that we pay for living. Are you prepared to pay the cost of living the life that you want? I'm Dr. Wendy Dearborne. Until next time, guys, you have been listening to an episode of You and the Laws of Attraction. Until next time, guys, peace. Love y'all. Bye.